Museum. I just wanted to say a couple of quick words. I'm really thrilled to learn about this work because it's deeply pertinent to the work of the museum. As you know, we are a unique and family and child-centered play space where we have children engaged on a daily basis with informal play and learning, and they can play and discover and explore here. And the kids really need to enjoy themselves. I mean, we know from a recent study at the Child Mind Institute that up to 30% of children and adolescents are suffering from anxiety and depression. That is a really tough statistic to wrap your heads around. So really kids need joy and play and happiness more than ever. I just want to now introduce one of our co-chairs of our Board of Overseers, Jen Faber, and she is here to introduce us to Pam.
Pam Garramone is a former elementary school teacher, basketball and softball coach, and was the executive director of the Greater Boston PFLAG, a nonprofit organization. And when she realized she wasn't all that happy, she studied with Harvard professor Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar to learn how to be happier. Now she teaches positive psychology, the science of happiness, to middle and high school students, teachers, guidance counselors, principals, social workers, healthcare providers, and to community and corporate groups. Pam has taught thousands of people how to be happier and less stressed. So please welcome Pam Garramone.
Thanks, Jen, and Laura, and Debbie, and all of you for coming. Raise your hand if you're already happier because you're not with your kids. I only saw a few hands up. I think we've got some. So yeah, I'm so excited to be here at the Children's Museum, and thank you so much for all your help making this happen. I'm here to talk about positive psychology, which is the science of happiness, or how to be happier, and how to have happier kids. So raise your hand if you have kids. Oh, that makes sense. You're in the right place. Raise your hand if you have children in preschool. Let's try and see who's here. Elementary school, middle school, high school. So the majority are younger. Raise your hand if you have one kid, two kids, three kids, more than three. Wow, how many do you have?
5 daughters.
5 daughters. So you can come up and do this talk for us. Awesome. So raise your hand now if you have something that you're watching on Netflix or on Amazon or somewhere that the first time you saw it, you were like, oh my God, you gotta go see this. You immediately told other people about it and got them to watch it. Raise your hand if you have something you're amped up about right now. So, or it could be a favorite movie, something that you've seen more than once. For me, I would say my all-time favorite movie is Dead Poets Society. Anybody else like that? Robin Williams. He's a teacher, and he's a little different from all the other teachers. And at first, the students are like, who is this guy? But not to give it away, in the end, they end up loving the subject, English, just like he does, and loving him. So that's one of my all-time favorite movies. Now I would love it if you could just turn to the person next to you and tell them what you're watching that you love right now and why. You might want to introduce yourself, like, hey, what are you watching? I'm going to draw you back. I was an elementary teacher, so I know how to get you back. We always cut you off. Never enough time. So who would like to share something that you're watching that you love and tell us why you like it? Who would like to share? Thank you.
I'm watching a show called The Good Place.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why I like it is, as a parent of teenage kids, it's harder to find things that everybody can watch together. And as a parent of teenagers, it's harder to find things that the whole family can watch together. And it's a great show for that reason.
Good. Anyone else watching The Good Place? All right. So maybe you'll get some new converts. So you're going to get this squishy kind of like Buddha cat for having the courage and the bravery to speak up in front of strangers, which does take a lot of courage. And it's a stress reliever. You just squeeze it and all stress goes away. So I don't know if you noticed, but what I noticed from this vantage point is as soon as you turn to someone and you start talking about something you enjoy, the energy in the room goes up. I saw people smiling, some laughing. Could it be that easy to be happier? Just talk about things we like? Yes. So as you're listening today, I really encourage you to listen wearing 3 different hats. One is personally. So which one of these happiness boosters or things that I share with you will you now make a new happiness ritual in your own life, something you now do every day for yourself? Secondly, in your relationship, so with your husband, wife, partner, which one of these can you now do in your personal relationship? And with your kids at home, including your kids. And lastly, maybe at work or with colleagues, which one of these might you try out in the workplace? And really, before we go any further, positive psychology is really 2 things. Make yourself feel good and make the people around you feel good. So actually, Harvard Medical School study that shows when we become happier, the people around us become happier. 63% more likely to become happier. I don't know how they do this research, but let's just trust it. It's Harvard Medical School. And if you are not happy yourself, surrounding yourself with happier people will significantly increase your chances of becoming happier. So if you were to ask, I'll ask you, what do most parents want for their children? Good answer. To be happy, right? Most of the time, if you ask a parent, what do you want the most for your child? I just want them to be happy, right? And then successful and all those other things. But we want them to be happy, but we need to be happy too, right? In order for us to have happier kids, we have to be happier. So a lot of the things that we share today, again, personally, with your kids, and professionally. So let's get started. Raise your hand if you've heard of mindfulness. This is a really smart group, I could tell. So as you know, mindfulness is really be here now. It's like, can you consciously focus for the hour or so that we have together and be present right here, not thinking about the past, not wondering where your kids are, what they're doing, not thinking about the future, what am I going to make for dinner tonight, what's the weekend going to be like, but can you just be here right now without judgment? That's mindfulness. So think for a minute, where are you on the happiness ladder? If 1 is living your worst possible life and 10 is living your best possible life, what number would you give yourself right here, right? We're not going to share this. Just kind of think, what number would you give yourself right now? And by the way, positive psychology's goal isn't to be a 10 all the time, to be happy all the time. If you were happy all the time, no one would like you. That's weird, right? Does it make sense to be happy all the time? What if your dog dies? Should you be happy? What if you find out a relative or close friend just has a serious illness? Would you be happy? So positive psychology means we still feel the full range of emotions, from anger, resentment, grief, sadness, to joy, love, fun, playfulness, and everything in between. And positive psychology gives us some tools to move through tougher emotions, not faster, but whenever we're ready. So if you would ask me where I was on the happiness ladder 5 years ago, I would have said a 4 or a 5. On the outside, if you saw me, you might have thought, she looks pretty happy. I had a great job where I got to help people. I made enough money to save, pay the bills, and have fun. And I had a partner who was in love with me, family that was supportive, and friends. On the outside, I looked happy. On the inside, I really wasn't. And the way that looked for me, after 10, 11-hour work days, I would go home and I would put my head on the pillow and I would run through my day and I would think of all the ways I wasn't good enough. And I wonder if anyone here has ever felt not good enough. And I think even worse than feeling not good enough is I compared myself to other people. So it looked like this. Jeff's a better speaker than me. They like Tom more than they like me. Sue has a bigger house. Jack has a better car. You know, she's more talented, more creative. Everybody else was up here and I was down here. And Mark Twain has a great quote, which is, comparison is the death of joy. If you want to be miserable, that's a really good recipe. And then one day I'm reading the Boston Globe, and on the front page there's an article about Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar, a professor at Harvard. Raise your hand if you've heard of Harvard. He's teaching a class there called How to Be Happier. And he becomes famous because more students at Harvard want to learn how to be happy than any other subject in the history of Harvard University. More than economics, more than law, these students want to learn how to be happier. And I'm reading this article thinking, I want to learn how to be happier. How do I get to take that course? And fortunately, Tal ends up leaving Harvard and starting the whole Institute, where I got to study with him for almost a year. There are actually things you can do every day to increase your happiness. So now, if you ask me where I am on the happiness ladder, I would say a 7 or 8 consistently. I can't be a 10. Turns out, because the #1 happiness booster is being in an intimate, loving, long-term, healthy relationship. And I'm single. Wow. I really feel your empathy there. So if anyone knows a hot lesbian, I'm just saying, you boost me to a 10 immediately. And you are laughing, but I'm serious. I want names and numbers. Turns out loneliness is a killer. I mean, people who are lonely actually die younger. So here you go. We'll start over here, and then we'll start here. Actually, I am kidding. If you want to get on my email list, I send out happiness tips every now and then. Totally optional if you want to get happy. I am kidding, because we all really know that another person can't make us happier, right? I had that person, but if you don't feel happy on the inside, they really can't do it for you. And what a burden to put on someone else, the responsibility for our happiness. It really is an inside job. So the things I share with you today, it's sort of, again, take it on personally and in your with relationships with your kids and professionally. So let's go. Raise your hand if you do know people who seem to be happy all the time, and we hate them. Right, it's like my sister Michelle, nothing bothers her. I'll be like, oh, should I call her? What time? What if I have to leave a message? What should I do? My sister, oh my goodness, just call her. Who cares? Always happy. Raise your hand if you know people who seem to be unhappy all the time. Like, when is the next shoe going to drop, right? Usually in every size crowd, people raise their hand and say they know happy people than happier people. But the research shows that people who seem to be happy all the time, they're born that way. 50% of how happy we are is genetic. It's in our DNA. My sister Michelle, she's the oldest. She got all the happy genes. I'm the youngest. By the time I came along, there were no happy genes left. And you know, if you have more than one child, right? Do you notice a difference in their overall mood, demeanor right from the get-go? Raise your hand. Is that true? They have different personalities. 10% of how happy we are is also out of our control. That's the climate we were born into, the family we were born into, the environment around us. So 60% of how happy we are is out of our control. But the good news is that 40% of how happy we are actually things we can do to increase our happiness. And that's what I want to share with you. Before we go there, why does happiness matter anyway? Sean Acor was Tal's teaching assistant at Harvard, and he's written a couple of books over there. His TED Talk has over 50 million views. Check it out. I love this quote, that our brain on positive performs better than on negative, neutral, or stressed. Would you agree? We do better when we feel better. So why does happiness matter? This is what studies show. Happier people are more productive at work. They make more money. They are better leaders. They're more likely to get married and stay married. Happier people have more friends. They're healthier. They live longer. They're less stressed, less anxious, and less depressed. Happiness matter? Here's for children. Happier kids are, they form friendships easier. They manage conflict with their peers easier. They manage their negative emotions easier. Young people, children, they have better concentration, which means they do better academically. Happier kids have fewer health problems. They have better relationships with adults. They're more resilient and optimistic. Happiness matters. Here's the founder of positive psychology, Marty Seligman, was studying psychology. What goes wrong with people? You may have heard of the DSM that has hundreds of labels of what can go wrong with people. One day, as the story goes, his 6-year-old comes up to him and says, "Dad, why are you so grumpy all the time?" And he kind of took a look at his life and realized that he was grumpy a lot of the time. So he decided to flip it. Psychology, which is what goes wrong with people, to positive psychology. What does it look like when it goes well? What does it look like when we're thriving, even under the toughest circumstances? And basically, positive psychology is this: do things that make us feel good. With our kids, with ourselves, in our relationships. So watching fun movies or things that we enjoy. Immersing ourselves in enjoyable activities. Like if you like to fish, fish. If you like to paint, paint. But what's the most common response people will say to that? I don't have time, right? But if you make the time to do things you enjoy, it will increase your happiness. And you're like, duh, but it's a matter of actually doing it. Relationships are the #1 happiness booster. You don't need an intimate partner to be happier, but we do need people. We need people to have fun with, cry with, laugh with. We're humans and we need people. And meaning, to feel like we have a purpose. You have a purpose. You're raising children that hopefully are going to be contributors and help the world become a better place. So you have a huge purpose. And accomplishment is to feel like you can set a goal and achieve it. And that's positive psychology. Really, positive psychology is this: how we look at life influences what happens to us. If you wake up every day, or your kid wakes up every day like Charlie Brown, like the meh emoji, like Lucy's gonna make fun of me again today, Snoopy gets all the love and attention. Do people still know Charlie Brown? Yeah. Is he still around? Right? Or you know people like Eeyore, right? For Eeyore, it's going to rain again today. Nobody likes me. And every day is the exact same for Eeyore because that's what he expects. Right? But really, positive psychology is this. Takes a minute for some folks. That's right, it's all in the way we look at things. Right? So now the problem with positive psychology, which is really retraining our brains to go positive, is that we're all born with this, a negativity bias. It's been said we have 70 thoughts a day and 85% of them are negative. And so it's about retraining our brains to go positive. But I love this quote. It's like something good happens and it's like Teflon. Oh, yeah, that was good. Something bad happens and it's like Velcro. Some of us are still thinking of things that happened to us weeks ago. Some of us are still thinking about negative things that happened years ago. Some of us are hanging on to negative things that happened when we were kids. So positive psychology is retraining our brains to go positive. So let's take a look at this. Debbie, if you can help me out. And hopefully you can see it and see what you think.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make? The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Is it a pointer? I've never done this with a pointer. Where is it? I've never done how big, right? So whatever we expect to see during the day is what we see. So if your kid comes home, you're looking for the 13 reasons why they're not good enough. Their shirt's not tucked in, they didn't do their homework, they didn't make their bed, right? You're gonna find them. But the 13 reasons why this person annoys you, you will find them and you'll be right. But at the same time you're looking for all the negatives, there's always a moonwalking bear. There's always something you could choose to focus on that would make you feel happier. And it doesn't mean tough stuff doesn't happen, it does. But again, whatever we're looking for is what we see. And if we start looking for the moonwalking bears or the good things, the more good things we'll start to see. Oh, what happened here? So raise your hand if you've heard of the stretch zone. The stretch zone. All right, awesome. So you're going to be learning something new. The stretch zone is I'm going to start asking us to do things together. And the stretch zone is, on the one hand, if I ask you to do something and you look like that, like panicked, that's really not a good place to be for learning, because you're shut down. You're no longer looking at me because you don't want to be picked. It's not a good place for learning. So I hope you're not in panic zone. On the other end, you have the comfort zone. In the comfort zone, if I ask you to do something, your brain might be saying something like, oh, this is ridiculous. This is so easy. I already know all this stuff. I've read all those books. I've seen all the TED Talks on this. I already know it. And raise your hand if you've heard knowledge is power. It's total crap. I can't say that here, can't? The kids aren't here. It's not true. Knowledge is potential power, right? So if you learn things today and you never put them into action, are you really going to be any happier? No. We all know we should floss every day, but how many of us do? Don't answer that. So knowledge is not power, it's potential power. Where I hope you'll be is in the stretch zone. That's when I ask you to do something and you're like, ugh, this feels uncomfortable. I hate when they say pair up. I hate when they say get into small groups, right? You don't like it, it makes you feel uncomfortable, you're scared a little bit, you don't want to fail, but you do it anyway. And that's where we need to put our kids. That's where schools put your kids. Where it's hard and uncomfortable, but you do it anyway. Because that's where the most growth and learning occurs. Are we ready to go into the stretch zone, Debbie? Let's go in and see what you think of this. It's called Man on the Train. Yes, it is a Coke commercial. Now, if you didn't think that was funny, you really need to start laughing more. We all know laughter is a happiness booster, but how many of us do it? So if you decide to make this your new happiness habit, this is what it looks like. Every day from this day forward, it becomes your intention to make yourself laugh or make the people around you laugh, including your children. Like really noticing the funny stuff they do and giving them that prized laughter that we all seek. So if it's make yourself laugh, maybe it's watching a Netflix video. Maybe it's going to a comedy show, watch a comedy show on Netflix. It's making yourself laugh. Look for the funny things. If it's making somebody else laugh, then maybe it is making your child laugh. And you can do it just by cracking up laughing yourself for no reason. Laughter is contagious, and they will start looking at you weird and then start laughing. You know, or maybe it's just like a couple weeks ago, I was going to the gym and I walked in, I thought, I am going to make the woman behind the counter laugh. I have no idea what I'm going to say, but that was my intention. I walked in, I don't even remember what I said. She cracked up laughing and I just walked away like, damn, I'm good. You know, it's your intention to make people laugh. If this becomes your happiness booster, we need to laugh more. And again, if you didn't think this was funny, I challenge you to go home, Google laughter chain. It's about 5 minutes long. If you're not hysterical at the end of the laughter chain, really need to start laughing more, you know, and practice it. It doesn't always come naturally. Whoops. So the next thing I want to share with you, this is the one thing that changed everything for me. It took me from a 4 or 5 on the happiness ladder to a 7 or 8 consistently. It's called 3 Good Things. Every night before you go to bed, you write down 3 good things that have happened in the last 24 hours. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 7, but you have to write at least 3. I told you before when I went to bed, I ran through my day and thought of all the ways I wasn't good enough. I even kept a journal where I wrote down all the negative things that were in my head because I thought if I got these thoughts out of my head, I'd feel happier. It's the worst thing you can do. Right before bed. Like you can keep a journal and write down not right before bed. So now, every night before I go to sleep, I write down 3 good things that happened. And remember I said that's my personal happiness habit. You might want to adopt that. But in your relationships, but you might end your day now with your kids saying, tell me 3 good things that happened today. What made you laugh today? What made you smile today? What do we do now? How was your day? Good. What'd you do? Nothing, right? Now, what if we change it to, tell me 3 good things that happened today? And you have to model it too, right? With your relationships, I was giving a talk at MIT with the women engineers, and this woman said to me, oh, my husband and I do this on our drive home to Lexington every night. Tell me 3 good things. We start with the good stuff, and it doesn't mean tough stuff doesn't happen. It does, but we start with the good stuff, and then we can get to the tougher stuff. Something you can do at work too. If you run meetings, you start with the good stuff. 3 good things. So I want to share my 3 good things. I always put this in my slide deck. This is a picture of a 10-year-old 4th grader in the Boston Public Schools drew of me. We were teaching mindfulness. It says, Miss Garramone, great, with an exclamation point. Cool, funny, beautiful, kind, from Aurora. And I always put this in my slide deck because it makes me feel good that this 10-year-old thought these really nice things about me. But is my head really that big? I don't know if she saw something like ego, you know how they can see things. But positive psychology, make yourself feel good and make people around you feel good. Turns out that watching cute videos is a happiness booster. So let's see if this lifts your happiness level.
Hey!
Here we go.
Okay.
Hi. Hi, baby. Hi. Oh my God.
Are you good?
Hi. Hello.
Hey!
Hi.
Okay.
Positive psychology, make yourself feel good and make the people around you feel good. So just sharing cute videos with your kids, with your partner, or yourself can make us feel happier. Now some of you, by the way, that negative bias might have been thinking, oh my God, I hope she doesn't get hurt. Wow, that's gonna hurt. Just notice, not a bad thing, but just start noticing how often we go right to the negative instead of, oh, how cute, that was really fun. This next one, 3rd good thing, is I was asked to give a talk in an assisted living home, and they brought me in because they said the residents there are unhappy because they really want to be in their own homes, and the morale of the staff is really low because it's a hard job. I go in, and the director gives me a tour. The average age is 86, and there were 4 people who lived there sitting at a table, and one of them said to me, are you going to be one of the new residents here? I was like, ow, I know I have more lines, but geez. And it wasn't even the dementia ward, so that really hurtful. I go in and I give my talk, and they're laughing and they're having a great time. And I said to the director, they don't seem unhappy at all. You know what she said? That's because only the happy people chose to go to your workshop. The negative Nancys, no offense to any Nancys in here, didn't choose to go. And that reminded me of is how we are at 40 is how we are at 80. Like we don't suddenly get happier when we retire. You know, so some of us still have some time to change, just saying. Now, you will all be in my journal tonight. I will say I was at the Children's Museum. They laughed at all my jokes. They loved me. It was awesome. I had so much fun. And now you are going to pair up. So find somebody to chat with and tell them 3 good things that have happened to you in the last, because of time, just do one good thing. Doesn't have to be big. It could be the lunch was delicious. It could be you're not with your kids. It could be anything. So one good thing, go. All right, folks, come on back. And I apologize for cutting you off, but you get the idea. You can see people smiling, people laughing. Could it be that easy to be happier? Yes. So now I'd love to hear somebody would like to share what's something good that's happening in your world. Takes a lot of courage to speak up. Yeah, tell us something.
I was away from my kids for about a day and a half. I flew to LA to see my sister, and when I came back, I opened my car door and my kids came spilling out of my house screaming, "Mommy, Mommy!" Now they know that I had cupcakes in my suitcase, which was the first, so is that a pink box? Do I see pink? Is that pink in your box? Is that the pink box? Is that where the cupcakes are?
Her kids are happy he's here. Now, this isn't a competition. Who can lower the bar? Who has kids that would not be happy to see them? Just kidding. But you're going to get this beautiful gay unicorn. Everybody needs a gay unicorn. Thank you for speaking up. Anyone else want to share something good? Yes, thank you. What do you have? Let's come on over. Hey, thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Hello, everybody. So one good thing that happened for me is that I went to bed last night at 8 o'clock, and that was just beautiful.
It's right, it works. So again, knowledge is not power. So maybe this is something you consider trying out and see if it works for you personally, in your relationships with your partners and kids, and maybe at work. So another way to do 3 good things is WWW. Sometimes people with teenagers like this a little better. WWW, what went well. So after every talk now, before I'd be like, they didn't laugh at this, they didn't like it. Now I don't even go there. WWW, what went well at the talk on my drive well. You go there first. This is another way of doing it. If you haven't seen this TED Talk, I highly recommend it. Neil Pasricha was married. One day his wife comes up to him and says, "I want a divorce." Totally devastated, crushed. He goes on a trip with his best friend, and when they come have a great time, when they come back, his friend dies by suicide. So he loses his wife and his best friend, and he decided to just write a list of good, awesome things. And it started growing and growing till now it's awesomethings.com, and some of them are like when cashiers open up new checkout lanes at the grocery store, wearing underwear just out of the dryer, and being the first table called at a dinner, right, the dinner table. So, and finding money in your pocket, right? So it's just kind of looking through your life to look for the awesome things. Again, something you could do with your kids. You could keep a book in the house where now we're starting to write awesome things. His book is over there too, 1,000 Awesome Things, so you can check that out. But again, it's looking for the good. This is Tall, the Harvard professor I mentioned. He's famous for this quote, "When we appreciate the good appreciates." The more we look for good things in our day, the more good things we see. They were always there, but we see them. And a funny story about Tall that he tells, when he became famous, he was on Good Morning America, all the talk shows, and when the cameras went off, they would often say to him, "We thought you'd be happier." Because he is the happiness expert. But Tall's an introvert. So we think happiness is blah, 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 right? But it's an inside job. And really only we know how happy we are. Just continuing on this, students who were told to think about the happiest day of their lives before taking a standardized math test outperformed those in the control group. When we feel better, we do better. So it's really important to make this a new practice. The next thing I want to share with you, I already mentioned that social connection is the #1 happiness booster, that we're really wired for connection. With it, we flourish. Without it, we wither. So they did a study with Harvard students, and the students who were depressed there actually turned out they were isolating themselves. They didn't want a roommate, they wanted their own room. They didn't take part in activities. And what they did is they just put them in a room with another person to room with and start doing activities, and their depression lifts. We need people to laugh with, to do fun things with. So in regards to this study again, that social connection was hands down the greatest predictor of thriving personally and academically at Harvard. We're more optimistic, buffer I already mentioned against depression, and feel less stress in the wake of exams. So how does this relate to your own kids? We need to find people for them, right? And not just anyone. They did a study with 3 and 4-year-olds. 3 and 4-year-olds who were paired with other 3 and 4-year-olds that were hardworking and really social became more hardworking and more social. We tend to lift up to the people who are around us. Would you agree with that? So if you have a friend who runs, meditates, plays tennis, we start to up our game a little bit. So it really matters who we surround ourselves with and who we surround our kids with. So here it is, friends. Make a point throughout the week to have your child spend quality time with a good friend, special relative, or new friend you want to get to know better. Friends, that social connection is the greatest buffer for better health, for feeling better about ourselves, being more optimistic, doing better in school, all of those things. Raise your hand if you are a social media fan. Yeah, some people are like, I'm addicted to it, but I'm not really a fan of it. It's like, guess how long it takes the average person to check their phone when they wake up in the morning? How long? 2 seconds, 5 seconds, less than 6 seconds. Like, you have partners, you don't even look at them before you look at your phone. Is that true? We are addicted to this, and it's like you wouldn't put if you were an alcoholic, you wouldn't put whiskey by your bedside table, right? But we're addicted to this, and we put it right by our table, our bedside table. So you already know this, right? Social media is sort of like a really bad thing for kids. The research shows that kids who are on social media for longer times than kids who aren't are 30% more likely to be depressed. Oh, how come they're at that event, birthday party? I didn't get invited. How many likes does that person have? And we do it too. I didn't get that many likes, right? It's crazy town. This is a great resource for you. It's called Scare Your Soul. It's my friend Scott Simon out of Cleveland. If you sign up for this Instagram, every day he sends a new positive psychology practice. So it could be write 5 things you're grateful for. It could be buy a stranger coffee. But every day it's a simple thing you could do to improve your happiness and the happiness of the people around you. This was one of the experiments they did. It's called, basically what they did was they asked people to find a picture that you posted on Facebook where you made it look like you were happy and having a great time, and then tell the true story behind that picture. So do you think this person looks happy? This was the worst day of her life. Her husband and her decided to get a divorce, and they had just told their teenagers that the husband was going to be moving out. They were going to have 2 separate houses. This dog was going to be shared between the 2, and the teenagers were devastated, crushed. And she said, it looks like I'm hugging this dog lovingly, but I am clutching this dog for support. This was the worst day of my life. It just goes to show how Instagram, Facebook, it's not reality. We're only posting our good times, and it's really having a negative effect on people who believe this stuff. I don't go on Facebook at all anymore. It doesn't make me feel good to see people my age, they've got grandchildren, they're in their built-in pool. I look at it and I'm like, I mean, sorry, it doesn't make me feel good. So I don't even go on anymore. I have a business page, but I don't go on regular Facebook because I want to feel happier, and that wasn't making me feel happier. It may be that you just cut down on the time for yourself and your kids. So Tiffany Schlain just wrote a book called 24/6. And it's basically about taking one day out of your week where you have no social media. All tech is off. And it's just like the family, for them, she's Jewish, so it's Shabbat, it's Friday night to Saturday. And they just do family things together without their phones, without technology at all. And the kids, at first, she said, hated it, because like, oh, what am I missing out on? But then they end up loving it because they're face to face with people, they're laughing, and they're doing things that before they didn't have time for because we're just scrolling, spending and wasting so much time. So it might be just taking one day with no tech or just less time on social media. It's a real depressing thing if you think about it. So just being aware of it. If your kid's feeling down, maybe they're spending too much time on their phones. And I had one parent say their 6-year-old, I'm not sure if I get this right, but she said something like, because her mom was always on the phone, like they're getting in the car or in the car, it was like always looking down on the phone, and the mother forgot the phone once in the house, and she said, Mom, I think you left your best friend in the house. They're noticing, are we looking at them? Are we giving them our full attention? Or are we like this? Oh yeah. Okay, just notice and be aware. So let's do a little movement. Maybe some of you heard of Amy Cuddy. She was an associate professor at Harvard Business School. She lives in Newton. And she did research there trying to answer the question, can your body change your mind? We all know our thoughts can have a negative impact on our body. If we think negative a lot, we feel tired, less healthy. So our thoughts can change our body. But she wanted to know, can our body change our thoughts or change our mind? She found out that it can. She calls it power poses. And she found that if you stand in a power pose for 2 minutes before an important event, you're more likely to succeed at that event. Kids who stood in a power pose before standardized tests did better than students who did not stand in a power pose. So the student who saw me at a conference, and I was at her school, and she was like, oh, the power pose lady. Now, ever since you gave that talk, I do a power pose before my track meets, and I've had my best times ever. It works. So let's give it a try. Please stand up. This is the superhero pose. So you want to spread your legs. It's the only time I can say that in public without getting in trouble. Right? You stand this way for how long? 2 minutes. When? Before an important event. So if you have, well, this wouldn't be you, but even people who went on a first date who stood in a power pose before the date, the person liked them more than people who didn't. Okay? You do it before, not during, like, oh, hey, like me. All right? You can have a seat and just kind of notice, what do you notice about high power poses? We're not going to do this one because people might still be eating, but you can try the one on the left. Just kind of try. Does your body change your brain? Give it a try and just see. Does this change the way you feel? That's what we're trying to find out. And you can try the one on your right, which is also known as man spreading, which is illegal on the New York City subways. And you might think, why would this be illegal, right? So just kind of notice. What do you notice about high power poses? What do you notice? You take up a lot of space, right? In a high power pose, you make yourself bigger. And guess what? Animals do the same thing. When animals want to appear powerful, they make themselves bigger. When animals want to attract a mate, they make themselves bigger. This is the frigate bird. The male on your right, when it wants to attract a mate, it makes its throat 20 times bigger and in the shape of a heart. And the female's like, wow, confident, I like you. And he gets his mate. In sports, you see high power poses all the time. If you want to be in a peak performance state, you're making yourself bigger. This is a Benintendi catch. Did anybody see this in the World Series? Not this year. That's a high power pose, and so is this. And we're just going to do this for fun. High power pose. And if you want to score that winning goal, look at that. It's putting your body in a peak performance state. Your brain listens to your body. Now let's try a low power pose. Please stand up and see if you notice a difference. Try the one on the left in the way you feel just based on the way you're standing. Does your body change your brain? Just kind of notice. And then have a seat and maybe try out the one on the right and see, what do you notice about low power poses? What do you notice? Protective, I heard, yeah. What else? What else? You're making yourself smaller. So in a low power pose, it's like, I don't want to be seen, don't look at me, don't call out me. And animals do the same thing. When animals are sad, they make themselves smaller, right? The next power pose I want to share with you, in every country, in every culture, in every language around the world, this is what human beings do when they are super psyched. So please stand up. It's called the victory pose. And I want to get a picture. You gotta be smiling. This is the victory pose at the Boston Children's Museum. All right, you do it for how long? 2 minutes. Before an important event. And you see it in sports all the time. And animals do the same thing when they're super psyched. So it's just, again, something you can share with your children before tests, because what Amy Cuddy found is, the science behind it is it increases testosterone, which is confidence, and it decreases the stress hormone cortisol. Okay, so that's kind of why it works. You can do it with your kids, you can do it yourself, you can do it with your partner. So now, how many people have heard of growth mindset? Good number. I'm going to show you a quick video on this. It's the best video I've ever seen about it. But basically, what it is they found that when parents and teachers said things to their kids like, oh, you're a natural at math, you're a gifted athlete, a gifted museum, this comes so easy to you. Using that kind of language, you're so smart, you're brilliant. When those kids were given tougher challenges, they wouldn't do it, because they thought, because you've labeled them brilliant, gifted, a natural, they thought if they fail at this new thing, you will have a different view of them. Now, are they no longer gifted? Are they no longer, a natural? And kids who were, in contrast to that, were told, wow, you got an A on that test, you must have put a lot of time and effort into that. You're really good at that sport, you must be have practiced a lot. So praising effort, time, and practice, when those kids were given more challenging tasks, they did it no problem, because they knew if they fail, it just meant they needed more time. They needed more effort and more practice. So I'd like to just share this with you and go a little deeper into it.
The Greater Good Science Center presents Half Full, Social Science for Raising Happy Kids, a discussion series between Dr. Christine Carter and Kelly Corrigan.
So sometimes I feel like I'm sort of overwhelmed with all these different things that I'm trying with my kids, and I just want to focus on one thing. I want like a mantra. I want something super high impact that's going to change the way I operate every day.
Okay. I have the one thing for you. I have just reviewed all of Carol Dweck's research on mindsets and the psychology of success, and that's what we got to focus on this year. Mindsets.
Mindsets. So, I'm writing it down.
Okay. All right. There are basically 2 different types of mindsets that everything kind of falls into. There's the fixed mindset, which is the belief that kids are born with whatever talents they're going to have. They have certain proclivities. They're gifted.
They're natural.
Their traits are set in stone, basically. Mm-hmm. And the growth mindset is the belief that success really comes from effort and practice and hard work.
So this is almost like nature versus nurture, right?
Yes, exactly. So the fixed mindset is the really strong belief in nature. And the growth mindset places much more emphasis on effort and hard work to get where you want to go and to be successful.
I think I've been talking fixed mindset. I mean, I think Edward is sort of naturally inclined towards music, and I think Claire is really language oriented, whereas George is sort of numbers oriented. Yeah. I mean, these are all I'm
Yeah.
way off on the wrong end.
You can see it's very natural. This is what our culture preaches, definitely, is this fixed mindset. But here's the problem with the fixed mindset. When you label Georgia as a smart girl or something,
Which I've only told her about 1,000 times.
Yeah, I know.
since the day she was born.
I say to my kids, "You're brilliant. You're a genius." You know, I mean, I think it's very natural to do this. But here's the problem: you give them that label, and it kind of puffs them up a little bit, and they like it, and then they don't want to lose it. So she's going to go out in the world, starting to evaluate situations and what she does in terms of whether or not she's going to look smart, whether or not she's going to win or lose. It's going to start to become a little bit of an insecurity for her. She's going to always be wanting.
She's got to prove it.
Right. So what happens when something doesn't come naturally to them? They have to put a little effort out for it. Does that mean they're dumb? Does that mean they're not innately talented?
Right.
So then they start to look at the world in terms of situations. Am I going to look smart in that situation?
Right. It's why the kids don't take hard classes.
And actually, there's some great research behind that that shows that really fixed mindset college students will avoid taking the classes that they need to get better if they're at risk.
Or it's all those kids who are the top of their class, and then they go to the Ivy League school and meet all the other kids that are top of their class and have a nervous breakdown because they're so used to being the smart one.
And it's a very uncomfortable feeling to feel like you have to always be proving yourself and protecting that special label that's been given to you.
It also just pulls all the control away, because if you think that the reason why you did well on the test is because you're so smart,
right,
and then you do poorly on a test,
right,
then what does that mean? That you're no longer smart?
Right.
Whereas if you're giving all the credit to effort and studying and time on task and going to getting extra help from the teacher,
right,
then you know how to create the outcome that you're driving for.
That's exactly right. And all the research on success shows us that the top thing really is effort. So Tiger Woods may have been born a good golfer. We don't really know that. What we do know is he started playing when he was 3 and he's practiced every day since. That effort and that hard work is now paying off in success. Now,
so our messages have to be changed across the board. It's not only what we're saying directly to our kids, but it's what we're saying about other people when our kids are in earshot.
Kids who have growth mindsets are going to enjoy themselves more. They're going to like their activities. They're going to love learning more. They're going to learn to embrace challenges. Growth mindsets are a real key to having a happy childhood.
So fixed mindset is a recipe for sort of joyless achievement, whereas growth mindset
is a great recipe for a happy childhood.
Okay.
So fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Just kind of think in your own life, where do you have a fixed mindset? You know, like for me, I would say technology. Like if it doesn't work the first time, I'm like, oh, I don't want to keep trying. I don't want to keep learning. I just ask for help. And then I don't know how to do things. Or when I was doing yoga with 4th graders, I saw this so beautifully. This kid who was a little overweight, we said, with mats out, he wouldn't do it. He absolutely wouldn't do it. And you know what he said? I'm not flexible. I can't stretch. How many of us have said that about yoga? Right? I don't like it because I can't do it. You know, and he went on the stage and just laid down and wouldn't participate at all. That's fixed mindset. Growth mindset is, I'll try it and just see how I do. And the more you know, the more you go to yoga, the more you stretch, the more flexible we become, right? So we're going to give this a little bit of a try. As I said, it's praising the process and acknowledging the effort and practice that it takes. So because of time, let's kind of just do this to ourselves. So I'm going to flash a growth mindset statement and just say it out loud to yourself and see if it feels weird to say this or if it feels, oh yeah, this is what I do, it feels comfortable. Just practice, right? So here's the first one. You can say it out loud to yourself or just at your table. Go ahead. Wow, I hope you say that a little more enthusiastically to your kids. You did a good job. Let's try this one with a little more enthusiasm. It really works. Go ahead. Growth mindset. All right, you got it? Okay. Now, this is a really important part of growth mindset, teaching kids that it's okay to make mistakes. You know, it's okay to fail. That's the stretch zone where you try it. If it doesn't work, you try something else. So teaching children to enjoy the effort. And it's like anytime you do something new, permission to do it badly, right? Because it's your first time. And so giving them permission to do things badly or to make mistakes. So this is what this looks like. Say it out loud, please. Boy, this is hard. It's fun. Modeling, it's okay to fail, not succeed on the first time. Go ahead. So I hear some people laughing. It means if it doesn't feel natural, that's okay. We're learning, right? Last one. Let's see what we can learn from this. But really teaching them it's okay to make mistakes. And as Tall used to say, is fail often and fail big. And when you fail, say, how fascinating. Yeah, people are, really? How fascinating. What can I learn from this? You know, that it's okay to be in the middle, in the stretch zone. So here are just some strengths that you might want to look at your children or yourselves and your partner and to notice and to prize or praise. Creativity, persistence, and all of these come from a survey called the VIA Character Strengths. If you want to go there, it's viacharacter.com or whatever it is. You can take a survey. It gives you these 24 character strengths in order from your strongest strengths to your least strongest strengths. And just kind of noticing these are the words to notice in your kids and yourselves, to prize and praise. Last thing I want to share, that gratitude is a happiness booster, but how many of us actually practice gratitude? People who practice gratitude get all these lovely benefits. They're happier, more energetic, more spiritual, more forgiving, more optimistic. They're less materialistic, lonely, neurotic, and depressed and anxious. Here are some ways to practice gratitude. Maybe some of you already do these in your families. Some families now have like a jar where they write down things they're grateful for. Maybe read them aloud at dinner every Sunday or only at Thanksgiving, whatever works for you. Some people keep a gratitude journal with their kids or themselves. I told you every night I write down 3 good things, and after that I write 5 things I'm grateful for. Sometimes they overlap, sometimes they don't. But if you've ever kept a gratitude list and you didn't feel any happier, it's probably because you did it like this. I am grateful for my health, my family, my friends, my husband, my kids, my house. No benefit there. What you need to do when you write your gratitude list is you have to actually feel the gratitude when you're writing it down. So it looks more like a couple weeks ago when I was parking in Boston and I didn't get a ticket on my car when I went over the meter. I didn't get a ticket. So grateful to not get a parking ticket like that. Okay? Writing a gratitude letter was the biggest boost of happiness for the giver and the receiver. So it's taking 3 minutes. Think of someone who's helped you out that you would like to thank. You write your letter, you call them up, and you sit with them face to face and read the letter aloud to them. That was the biggest boost of happiness for the giver and receiver. It's also practicing vulnerability, because that's actually really hard to do. I tried it myself with my friend Barbara, and the funny thing, I read it out loud and she got teary-eyed. You know, the first thing she said, thank you, and was touched. And then she ran downstairs and she came back up with this framed, when the Supreme Court made gay marriage legal, there was some quote from one of the justices that she had framed. She gave it to her gay son, but he didn't want it. So she's like, is this something you would like? And I was like, I love it. I fought for gay marriage and it really meant a lot to me, so now it's hanging up in my house. But it was just kind of funny, like she felt like she had to give back, right? So it's like, you know, just, I don't know what that means, but I love it because I got that beautiful thing to hang up. You don't have to get something in return like that. I guess that's my point. Thank you, Barbara. So this is Sean Acor again. This is his gratitude practice, which is every morning when he goes for his phone, he writes an email or text message praising or thanking someone in his life. Every morning he writes an email or text message praising or thanking someone in his life. And of all the positive habits I have, this is the most powerful one. Last thing I will say today, I love this quote by Toni Morrison: when a child walks into a room, does your face light up? That's all your children really want, is to know that you see them, that they matter, that you value and prize and appreciate them. And you can show it by, oh, Jack, it's been 8 hours since I've seen you. Oh my gosh, so great to see you. Or what if you did that to your husbands or wives when they go, oh, how was your day? I've missed you so much. It's so great to see you. No, does your face light up when you see your kids? Or is it like, tuck your shirt in, did you do your homework, did you eat your lunch, like think about it. Does your face light up? So I want to just end by saying thank you so much for coming out today, for playing along, stepping into the stretch zone, and hopefully you got some tips to make yourself happier and make your kids happier. And again, positive psychology is really just 2 things. Make yourself feel good and make the people around you feel good, and you will feel happier. Thank you. I think